Funny how they spent all that time trying to ruin you, only to end up choking on the preview of their own karma. Now imagine this for a moment. Chosen one, picture them creeping around in the shadows, thinking they're some sneaky mastermind, only to accidentally flip over the wrong card and see a flash of their own ending, not your downfall, not your suffering, theirs. The kind of glimpse that makes a grown adult freeze like a kid caught stealing candy under a security camera they didn't know existed. That's what just happened. They looked too far, too deep, too greedily, and got hit with the cosmic spoiler trailer of their own consequences. They wanted to play detective, cute. Instead, they became the prime suspect in their own horror movie. And here's a fact that should make the chosen ones smirk right now. Psychology shows that people who obsess over others usually do it to avoid facing themselves. Meaning, while they were busy spying on you, monitoring you, stalking your every move, the one thing they never prepared for was that moment. The mirror turned around and faced them. That's why they're shaking. That's why the fake smile looks stapled on. Their brain finally met their karma, and it didn't blink. And thank you, chosen one, seriously. Don't forget to pay this message back by simply pressing like and subscribe to help spread this message to more souls, because it's on all of us to push the light forward. Thanks for being part of this mission. You're not just a viewer, you're part of a force that sends shockwaves through the shadows. Now, let's slide right back into why they're in shambles. Let's peel this open like the cosmic crime scene it is. They really never noticed the giant standing behind you. That's the funniest part. They kept poking you, mocking you, targeting you like you were small, like you were easy, like you were unaware. Meanwhile, behind you stood something they couldn't see. Something tall enough to overshadow every dirty trick they ever plotted. While they were busy treating you like prey, they never questioned why the room went quiet every time you walked in. They never wondered why their little spells of manipulation fizzled out like wet matches. They never noticed the shift in the air whenever they whispered your name. They really thought it was just you, just one person, just one small obstacle, just one last target in their nasty little pattern. Poor thing didn't know they were poking someone who had an entire unseen force standing behind them, arms crossed, silently watching, waiting for the moment to expose them. And that moment finally came. Chosen one, when they peeked behind your curtain, expecting to see weakness or chaos, they instead saw the absolute truth. Every single trap they set was wired back to their future, not yours. Every lie, every little scheme, every attempt to access what wasn't theirs, locked, recorded, filed. And when they tried to check their own path, pretending they were suddenly self-aware, please, that wasn't self-reflection. That was desperation disguised as enlightenment. They looked at their own karmic blueprint for the first time, and it hit them so hard their spirit probably needed a medic. They never expected the consequences to be this cinematic. They never expected their plan to unravel like a cheap knockoff handbag. They never thought their own motives would turn into neon signs exposing their greed, their envy, their obsession. They wanted to worry about you. They wanted to sabotage you. They wanted to get ahead of you. But the moment they saw what's coming for them, instant meltdown, instant paranoia, instant, maybe I should have minded my own business. Imagine the irony. They were obsessed with your timeline, but the only timeline collapsing is theirs. And the most delicious part, their meltdown didn't come from guilt. It came from exposure, because now they know. Now they've seen. Now they've tasted the preview of the outcome they wrote for themselves with their own decisions, their own hands, their own little schemes. They're not scared of losing. They're scared of being seen losing. They're scared that the chosen one they targeted is the same chosen one who now knows exactly how their story ends. They're scared because the universe didn't whisper, it screamed. They're scared because the consequences are bigger than their ego can swallow. They're scared because the giant behind you, it finally stepped into the light. And here's where the truth really cuts. They thought they were hunting you, but the whole time they were stepping into their own trap. They thought they were pulling strings, but those strings were wrapped around their own wrists. They thought they were exposing you, but all they did was expose their own pattern, their own fraud, their own crumbling future. And now they've seen it, the karmic trailer, the verdict preview, the consequences they can't outrun or cheat or silence. Chosen one, your enemy isn't just scared. They're unraveling, shaking, breaking. Their soul is in full system error because they finally saw what you already knew deep down. You were never the one in danger they were. From the moment they came for you, they started writing their own ending. And now that they've seen a glimpse of it, they're in shambles. And they should be. Because you gave someone a preview of their karma, and now they can't sleep without hearing the echoes of their own downfall. And chosen one, come closer for a second. What you heard so far, that was just the tease, just the appetizer. The universe slides across the table before the real feast of truth begins. The full picture of their downfall is only starting to load. And trust me, once it does, you'll understand exactly why they've been stumbling around like their soul lost Wi-Fi. If you're ready to walk through every layer of this karmic unraveling, ready to decode every crack forming in the enemy's little world, drop the number 77 in the comments. It shows me you're not just watching, you're aligned, locked in, and built for this level of clarity. And if you want to fuel the crew behind this message, bless the channel with a super thanks. Your support pushes this mission into places the shadows can't hide from. And now, we dive into it, step by step. This is where the real spine-snapping truth kicks in. If you're truly one of the chosen, you'll feel that unmistakable pull to stay until the very end, because every line from here on out peels back another layer of why they crumbled the second they saw that preview of their karma. Let's get into it. Number 1, when they stopped watching you and looked in the mirror. The funniest part about your enemy's downfall is that it didn't start when you rose. It started the moment they finally looked at themselves and realized they were nowhere near your league. Chosen one, picture this like a scene ripped straight out of a psychological thriller. They spent months, years, maybe entire seasons of their life monitoring you like you were some rare animal they needed to keep tabs on. Every post you made, they watched. Every move you took, they studied. Every blessing you received, they dissected like a lab rat with a spotlight over its head. But the day they finally stopped staring at you and turned their focus inward, that's the exact moment the floor dropped out beneath them. Imagine them standing in front of a mirror, expecting to see the same confident villain they pretend to be, only to find a cracked, flimsy knockoff staring back. Imagine the horror when the reflection doesn't match the delusion. They blink, step closer, tilt their head. Nope. Still a mess. A fraud. A cheap duplicate trying to compete with someone who's operating on a level their spirit was never built for. That's the moment their entire storyline glitches. Now imagine this for a moment. Chosen one. It's like watching someone who spent their whole life obsessed with outrunning. You suddenly look down and realize they've been sprinting on a treadmill. No forward movement, no progress, no glow up. Just sweat, delusion, and a false sense of accomplishment. They were so busy checking your speed, copying your style, trying to predict your next move, they didn't see that they were stuck in place, locked in a loop they created. Here's a hard truth backed by real psychology. People who stalk others, online or in person, are running from their own internal mess. They get addicted to distraction because facing themselves would require honesty, responsibility, evolution, things they ran from like it was fire. So the moment they finally stopped running and had to face what's in their mirror, boom, instant karmic whiplash. You ever notice how the weakest people are the loudest when they think no one's paying attention? That was them. Chosen one, they built entire narratives in their head about being superior, stronger, more powerful. But when the mirror confronted them, every one of those fantasies shattered. And here's where it gets even sweeter. They didn't just see flaws, they saw consequences, their patterns, their toxic cycles, their jealousy, their bad decisions, their manipulation, their envy of you, their obsession with you, their attempts to stunt you, block you, copy you, and outrun you. All of it came flooding back like a highlight reel of their worst moments. And the universe didn't show them gently. It slammed their truth into their face like a warning label they can't peel off. Think about famous people who hit the same wall, celebrities who spiraled not because of the spotlight, but because the spotlight finally reflected them back to themselves. People like those public figures who had everything, yet unraveled the moment accountability came knocking. That's your enemy right now. They're experiencing the same karmic meltdown the mighty face when the universe turns the camera around. Chosen one, your enemy isn't scared of you. They're scared of the version of themselves they finally saw. And let's answer the question you might be asking silently. Why now? Why did they crack only after looking inward? Because the universe works with timing sharper than any blade. It waits until the chosen one steps fully into alignment, until your energy becomes impossible to ignore, until your power becomes something they can't dismiss. Once you hit that level, their reflection becomes unavoidable. Your elevation forces their self-awareness. Your growth exposes their stagnation, your resilience spotlights their weakness. Here's the part that really made their spirit collapse. They saw the gap, the massive, undeniable, embarrassing gap between who they pretend to be and who you actually are. They wanted to believe you were equal competition. They wanted to believe they could outrun your destiny. They wanted to believe watching you would somehow help them catch up. But the mirror showed them something sickening. They were never even in the same race. And that realization didn't just bruise their ego, it broke it. The chosen one rises because of inner work, humility, discipline, and mind power. The enemy falls because they never built any of that. They only built illusions. Let's get into the metaphor they're choking on right now. You're a skyscraper they tried to measure with ruler meant for kindergarten kids. They didn't understand the scale. They didn't understand the foundation. They didn't understand the structure. You towered over them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, and they didn't see it until the mirror forced them to acknowledge it. And when that truth hit, they regretted every second they wasted watching you instead of becoming better. They regretted laughing at you. They regretted stalking you. They regretted mocking you. They regretted underestimating you. They regretted projecting on you. They regretted every fake smile they used to hide their jealousy. You became their karmic wake-up call simply by existing. And another question might creep into your mind. Why does their breakdown matter to me? Why should I care? Because chosen one, this is the moment you need to understand the full scale of your power. You didn't hurt them. You didn't expose them. You didn't ruin them. You simply forced them to see themselves by rising. Your growth cornered their excuses until they had nowhere left to run. That's why this moment is important. Not because of their regret, but because of what it says about you. If someone can crumble just from looking at their own reflection after comparing themselves to you, that means you are operating at a level that breaks illusions. You destroy false identities simply by existing. You expose lies simply by being authentic. You shake egos simply by breathing. That's chosen energy, the kind that doesn't need to attack. Truth does the attacking for you. They finally looked inward and found a graveyard of the decisions they made trying to compete with you. They wanted you to doubt yourself, question yourself, shrink yourself, but when they saw how far behind they actually are, it hit them like reality with brass knuckles. Chosen one, they didn't just regret watching you, they regretted not becoming someone worth watching. Because at the end of the day, when the world goes quiet and the universe pulls the curtain back, the only thing left standing is the truth. And the truth is simple. They saw themselves without filters. And that was the scariest thing they've ever seen. That's why they broke. That's why they're shaking. That's why the karmic preview hit so hard. And that's why this first moment, the moment they looked in the mirror, is the beginning of their unraveling and the proof of your power. Number 2. The karmic report card they never thought they'd have to read. Karma doesn't send warnings, it sends receipts. And yours, chosen one, just made someone realize their entire life has been overdrafted in the actions have consequences department. Chosen one, let's not pretend your enemy ever expected to face a real evaluation of who they are. They thought life was some group project where they could cheat off you, copy your energy, steal your ideas, dodge accountability, and still walk away with an A. They really believed the universe wouldn't notice the lies they crafted, the manipulation they stitched together, the traps they set with that giggly, fake, innocent grin. But the moment they pulled out their karmic report card, phew, instant paralysis. If their ego had bones, every single one snapped on sight. This wasn't a cute little progress update. This was a full-blown cosmic audit, and the results weren't disappointing. They were catastrophic. No excuses, no explanations, just raw, unfiltered truth slapping them across the soul so hard even their ancestors felt it. Now imagine this for a second. Chosen one. Picture them sitting down, thinking they're about to see some empowering clarity or spiritual glow-up. They believed karma works like a buffet. You pick what you want and skip what you don't like. Instead, the universe handed them a multi-page disaster report that looked like the aftermath of a toddler trying to do algebra with crayons, big fat red marks everywhere. Failed here, lied here, harmed this person, ignored this warning, repeated the same mistake 42 times. And the universe didn't even try to be gentle. It dropped the truth with the same energy a judge uses when dropping a life sentence. Calm, final, unmistakable. Here's a wild psychological fact for you. People who avoid accountability eventually create an identity so fragile that the slightest truth can shatter it. Your enemy built their entire personality around denial. Denying who you are, denying who they are, denying the consequences of everything they've done. They lived inside a bubble made of ego fumes. So when they finally saw the truth, pop, lights out, system failure. Chosen one, they didn't just get a poor score, they got academically annihilated. Karma gave them Fs across categories they didn't even know existed. Integrity, F. Self-awareness, F-. Intentions, F with flames around it. Basic human decency, That section came back blank, and while they're sitting there trying to process how badly they failed, here's what hits them next. Every single result was based on decisions they made. No scapegoat, no fallback, no, but they did this to me. The universe doesn't play he said, she said. It reads energy, it reads intention, it reads truth. That's why they're in shambles right now. You ever notice how people panic when they realize they can't rewrite the story anymore? That's exactly what's happening. They've spent their whole life rewriting their mistakes into victim stories, flipping the script, gaslighting anyone who caught them slipping. They always needed someone else to blame, someone else to point at, someone else to make the villain so they could look clean. But when karma hands you a report card, baby, you're the only name on the paper. No group members, no technical difficulties, no miscommunication, just your actions and their consequences lined up like bullets. Think of celebrities who had massive careers but collapsed overnight because their truth finally came out. Not because of rumors, but because of receipts. When the world sees the real report card, everything shifts. That's your enemy right now. Their spiritual PR team quit the second the universe printed the results. They're naked in front of the truth, and they're terrified. Chosen one, another question may be spinning in your mind right now. So why did they see it now? Why not earlier? Because karma doesn't reveal your final grade in the middle of the semester. It waits until you've turned in every assignment, every lie, every betrayal, every scheme, every attempt to hurt someone chosen. Once the file is complete, then the universe submits it to the cosmic registrar. And your enemy? Oh, they turned in way too many assignments written in pure malice. They really thought all that shady behavior wouldn't add up. They thought they were going to graduate with honors in manipulation. They didn't realize the universe was keeping receipts in 4K. Now picture them reading the line that cracked their soul the hardest. The line that basically says, you could have had a better life, but you ruined it by trying to ruin someone else's. That's the real devastation, not the failing grade, the wasted potential, the life they could have had, the blessings they forfeited, all because they were too busy trying to sabotage someone chosen. Chosen one, you didn't block their blessings. They blocked their own blessings by coming for you. And the moment they saw that truth, written in cosmic black ink, they realized you weren't just some random target. You were the turning point they should have never crossed. Let's go deeper with another metaphor they're probably choking on right now. It's like they tried to take the exam by copying your answers, only to realize you were studying quantum physics while they were stuck at basic arithmetic. They thought imitating you would help them rise. Instead, it exposed how unprepared they were for the level you're operating on. They wanted your glow but skipped your growth. They wanted your rewards but ignored your discipline. They wanted your results without doing any of the inner work. And the karmic report card made it painfully clear. You earned everything. They faked everything. And the universe doesn't reward counterfeit energy. Here's another question you might be asking. Why does seeing their consequences matter to me? Because, chosen one, this is the moment you realize just how dangerous your authenticity is to anyone who built their identity on lies. Your truth doesn't just expose them, it disassembles them. You weren't trying to be their judge. You weren't in competition. You weren't watching them. You weren't even aware half the time. But your existence created a contrast they couldn't hide from. You know what breaks a weak person the fastest? Watching someone they tried to underestimate succeed anyway. Watching someone they tried to sabotage keep rising. Watching someone they talked down on shine brighter than ever. Your life became the highlighter that exposed their mediocrity. The karmic report card just confirmed it. and now they have to live with it. Every line, every consequence, every truth they ran from. They didn't expect to ever face it. They didn't expect karma to show up. They didn't expect their self-analysis to reveal that they were the problem all along. But the universe doesn't care about expectations. It cares about balance. And chosen one, that balance has finally hit. Your enemy is reading their spiritual grades and realizing they've been failing life while trying to compete with someone who wasn't even in the same category. That's why the meltdown is real. That's why the mask fell off. That's why they're spiraling now, because for the first time ever, they can't lie their way out. They can't blame you. They can't rewrite the truth. The karmic report card is stamped, sealed, delivered, and it's the one test they will never recover from. Number 3, playing with access. They never earned. People don't break into your energy because they're curious. They do it because they know they'd never survive if they had to compete fairly. Chosen one, this is the part where karma tightens the grip. They weren't just watching from afar. They were digging, snooping, peeking, slithering through digital cracks like they were entitled to your private world. They acted like your life was some open hallway, when in reality they were trying to sneak into a fortress built by the universe itself. And every time they crossed a boundary, a cosmic alarm went off with their name blinking in neon red. Imagine this for a moment. Someone tries picking the lock of a treasure vault, expecting gold, only to find laser tripwires reacting to every breath they take. That's what they triggered. They thought they were the spy, the mastermind, the one in control. Meanwhile, the universe was capturing every step like a high-definition surveillance reel titled "Reasons You're About to Regret Everything." Here's what they never understood. Access to you is earned, not taken. And chosen ones, they're not open source material. Your energy is encrypted. Your path is encoded. People who try to sneak in always hit a firewall they weren't built to handle. That's why their intuition shut down. That's why their luck cracked. That's why everything they touched after stalking you turned into malfunctioning chaos. You might wonder, why were they so obsessed with what I'm doing? Because your glow threatens everything they pretend to be. They wanted your playbook, your strategy, your essence. Without doing the inner work that gave you that power, the universe has zero patience for that greed. It blocks their access, shuts every door, and charges them interest for trying. Chosen one, leave them in their confusion. The universe already handed them the penalty. Nobody walks into your world without permission and walks out whole. Number 4, the interrogation room moment. Funny how the guilty rehearse speeches for the wrong crime until the universe locks the door and shows them the real charge they've been running from. Chosen one, this is the moment every enemy fears, but pretends they're too smart to ever reach. They thought they were ready. They thought they had their excuses polished, their fake innocence rehearsed, their victim act sharpened. They built entire scripts in their head about what they'd say if anyone ever questioned what they did to you. But the universe doesn't do interviews. It does interrogation rooms. Imagine this. Someone walks in thinking they're about to debate you, and instead the lights flip on, the table slams shut, and the universe sits across from them with a folder thicker than their ego. They open it slowly, smirking, and it's not about you at all. Every page is something they did in the dark that they thought nobody knew about the real crime. The one they never prepared a script for. The one that makes their stomach drop like broken glass. They practiced lines for the wrong story. They rehearsed the wrong defense. They were so obsessed with their case against you that they forgot karma keeps receipts on the things they hide from themselves. And that's why they panicked. That's why their mask cracked. That's why the room suddenly felt too small, too hot, too real. Chosen one, here's the truth they can't swallow. You weren't the problem. You were just the spotlight exposing what they already were. Even their darkest fear whispered it. If this is just the preview, what does the full karma look like? You might ask, why didn't they just fix themselves? Because people like this don't self-reflect. They self-deflect. They never expected the universe to subpoena them. And now they're sitting across from truth itself, unarmed. No escape, no script, no way out, no. Number 5. The clock they didn't know was ticking. The worst punishment isn't karma catching them. It's karma catching them while they're still bragging about getting away with it. Chosen one, your enemy made the classic rookie mistake of every wannabe puppet master. They thought they had time. They strutted around like they were untouchable, rewinding their lies, stitching new ones, editing their alibis like a bad director trying to fix a terrible movie in post-production. They didn't realize the universe isn't a slow judge, it's a countdown. And their timer hit 0 while they were still practicing their innocent face in the mirror. Picture this. Someone sprinting through a hallway with files in their hands, stuffing evidence under rugs, deleting messages, rewriting stories, praying no one connects the dots. Meanwhile, above their head, a giant clock is melting like a Dali painting, seconds dripping off the edges. They don't see it. They're too busy adjusting their facade. But you could feel the shift. The universe had already flipped the hourglass. Chosen one, here's the truth. While they were plotting, time was plotting against them. While they were covering their tracks, the tracks were engraving themselves deeper. While they were rehearsing their lies, the curtain was already opening. And they swear it's your fault. They swear you exposed them. But the only thing you did was exist. Their downfall wasn't triggered by your actions, but by their obsession with you. They were so busy watching your clock that they forgot their own was bleeding seconds. You might wonder, why didn't they stop? Because they thought the universe worked on their schedule. Because arrogance blinds people faster than karma does. Because in their head they had forever. So when time ran out, they weren't ready. And when the karmic alarm went off, it was louder than every lie they ever told. Number 6. The system they helped build is collapsing on them. Every empire built on lies eventually meets the one person whose existence makes the whole thing fall apart. Chosen one, they never expected you to be the fault line. They thought their little group, their network, their clique of schemers was solid. They thought their system of manipulation, gossip, fraud, or shady games would last forever because no one had ever challenged it. For years they got away with it. They hid behind numbers, behind alliances, behind their little hive of co-signers who made them feel untouchable. Then you walked in, quiet, focused, minding your business, and the whole structure started shaking like someone kicked out the main pillar. Imagine a massive building where everyone pretends the foundation is perfect, but deep down they know it's cracked. All it takes is one heavy truth, one unexpected presence, one chosen, one stepping through the door. And suddenly the walls groan, the ceiling trembles, and they all look at each other like, wait, was it always this unstable? Yes, it was. You just exposed it by existing. Chosen one, here's the truth they choke on. Their system didn't collapse because you attacked it. It collapsed because you highlighted the rot they tried to decorate as power. It collapsed because karma finally had enough. You might wonder, why were they all shaking just because I showed up? because deep down they knew their whole network was held together with fear, lies, and overconfidence. Because they knew one real person, one strong energy, one universe-backed soul could send shockwaves through their entire operation. And you did. You were the glitch that turned into a meltdown. You were the quiet earthquake they underestimated. You were the proof that when something is built on dishonesty, it only takes one chosen one to bring the tower crashing down. Now they're scrambling in the rubble, pointing fingers, shaking, panicking, while you stand untouched. Number 7. The price of trying to watch you too closely. When you aim your binoculars at a chosen one, don't be surprised when the universe snaps them in half, right on your face. Chosen one, this part is almost funny. In a twisted cartoon villain way, they were so determined to keep tabs on you that they didn't notice the universe quietly unplugging their whole spiritual Wi-Fi. They wanted to read you, track you, predict you, copy you, outsmart you. But the moment they tried to watch too closely, something started glitching in their reality like a bad video game. Their intuition? Static. Their luck? Error 404. Their access? Denied with a smirk. Imagine some sneaky little wannabe detective crawling through air vents trying to listen in on you, only for every vent to slam shut at the same time. Picture them pressing their ear to the door, only for the universe to blast them with silence so loud it's almost painful. They tried to peek through windows they never earned the right to approach, but those windows turned black the moment they leaned in. And here's the truth they never saw coming. You weren't the one who blocked them. The universe did it for you. You might ask, but why did everything go dark for them? Because some people don't get to access chosen energy. Because spying on someone protected is like sticking a fork in an electrical socket. Because curiosity is cute until it turns into obsession. And obsession toward a chosen one is self-sabotage. The harder they tried to read you, the more unreadable you became. The deeper they dug, the more reality folded in their face. Their intuition shut like a trapdoor. Their luck malfunctioned like broken circuitry. Their dreams stopped giving clues. Their instincts stopped working altogether. They wanted a front row seat to your life. Instead, the universe kicked them out of the theater and seized their ticket permanently. Number 8. Counting receipts they never expected to see laid out. Karma doesn't forget, it files, and one day it spreads every receipt on the table like, "So, sweetheart, shall we review?" Chosen one, this is the part where even the universe starts chuckling. Your enemy really thought their mess was scattered, hidden, buried, untraceable. They thought they were smart enough to erase trails, delete history, rewrite timelines, patch their lies with new lies, and outrun the consequences like a cheap comic book villain with bad plot armor. But karma. Karma is an accountant from the underworld with perfect memory and zero patience. Imagine them stepping into a room thinking they're about to defend one tiny mistake. And instead, the lights flip on, and a long table is covered with every lie they ever told, every sneaky move, every shady transaction, every betrayal they swore nobody knew about. The papers are stacked, color-coded, highlighted. It looks like the universe's IRS broke in and audited their soul. And they freeze. Because suddenly everything they thought they buried is standing upright with timestamps. Chosen one, here's the truth that makes them sweat. You were never the problem. You were the mirror that made their mask slip just enough for the universe to say, "Perfect, now we can proceed." You might wonder, why is everything coming out at once? Because when someone crosses a chosen one, their karma doesn't come in episodes. It drops the entire season. Because lies don't age well. They ferment, expand, and eventually explode. Because once the universe decides enough, every hidden thing becomes reviewable material. And right now, your enemies are sitting across from their own history, realizing they aren't being punished for what they did to you alone. They're being punished for everything they did to everyone. One by one, the receipts get louder. One by one, the truth gets sharper. One by one, their whole facade collapses under the weight of their own paper trail. They wanted dirt on you. Instead, the universe leveled their entire file cabinet. Number 9. The greed behind their obsession with you. Nothing exposes a person faster than watching them drool over something that was never theirs to touch. Chosen one, their obsession with you was never admiration, never curiosity, never harmless interest. It was greed wearing cheap perfume. They looked at your blessings the way a thief looks at a vault they think they can crack. They stared at your glow like it was a lottery prize. They studied your strength like it was a blueprint they could steal. In their mind, you were the jackpot, and they were entitled to whatever you carried. They couldn't stand the fact that you had what they couldn't manufacture: inner richness, discipline, luck that didn't come from scams, and energy that couldn't be copied. So instead of building their own path, they tried to mug the universe for yours. Imagine someone circling your life like a seagull hovering over a bag of fries, convinced they deserve a bite simply because they exist. That's the level of entitlement we're talking about. The moment they saw you rising, something in them snapped. It wasn't inspiration. It was, how do I snatch that? Chosen one, here's the truth their ego won't admit. Your blessings activated their greed because your blessings exposed their lack. Your growth triggered their envy because your growth showed how little they were doing with their own life. Your potential made them furious because it reminded them of the potential they wasted. And you might ask, why were they so obsessed with what was mine? Because some people can't recognize their own opportunities, but they can smell other people's abundance like sharks smell blood. Because deep down, they believed the universe made a mistake giving you the gifts they wanted. But the universe doesn't misdeliver blessings. You earned yours through sweat, scars, intuition, and alignment. They wanted the reward without paying the cost. So now, the karmic joke is perfectly timed. Everything they tried to steal is slipping away from them, while everything meant for you is arriving right on schedule. Number 10. You weren't their only target, and that's their problem. A villain can outrun one witness, but not the entire crowd they screwed over. Chosen one, here's the plot twist your enemy never imagined. You were never the only one. They thought they were pulling off isolated stunts. They thought their lies, scams, manipulations, and betrayals were neatly compartmentalized, each victim tucked away in separate rooms like files hidden in different drawers. But life isn't a filing cabinet. Patterns always rise to the surface. They weren't just messy, they were predictable. They weren't just reckless, they were repetitive. And the universe finally hit compile, stitching every sin together like one big karmic collage. Imagine them running from room to room, trying to shut every door before someone catches on. But suddenly all the doors swing open at once. And standing in each doorway is another person they wronged, people from different seasons of their life. People they thought had moved on, people they assumed forgot. And now, those people are forming a wall, a whole crowd of receipts in human form. That's when reality hits them. This isn't a one-on-one confrontation anymore. This is a class action karma lawsuit. Chosen one, the truth is simple. They didn't just target you because you were vulnerable. They targeted you because you fit their pattern. They targeted you because you shined like the past victims they underestimated. And you might ask, then what made me different? Because unlike the others, you didn't break. You didn't fall into silence. You didn't crumble in the dark. Your resilience drew attention. Your survival triggered the collapse. Your strength linked the dots. You were the one who turned scattered suffering into a synchronized awakening. Now their past victims are no longer isolated. They've become a united front. The enemy cannot outrun, outtalk, or outmanipulate. They created too many enemies. They built too many graves. They burned too many bridges. And now the karmic wall around them is closing. One step at a time, one voice at a time, one truth at a time. A villain can outrun one witness, but not the entire crowd they screwed over. Chosen one, here's the plot twist your enemy never imagined. You were never the only one. They thought they were pulling off isolated stunts. They thought their lies, scams, manipulations and betrayals were neatly compartmentalized, each victim tucked away in separate rooms like files hidden in different drawers. But life isn't a filing cabinet. Patterns always rise to the surface. They weren't just messy. They were predictable. They weren't just reckless. They were repetitive. And the universe finally hit compile, stitching every sin together like one big karmic collage. Imagine them running from room to room, trying to shut every door before someone catches on. But suddenly, all the doors swing open at once, and standing in each doorway is another person they wronged, people from different seasons of their life, people they thought had moved on, people they assumed forgot. And now, those people are forming a wall, a whole crowd of receipts in human form. That's when reality hits them. This isn't a one-on-one confrontation anymore. This is a class action karma lawsuit. Chosen one, the truth is simple. They didn't just target you because you were vulnerable. They targeted you because you fit their pattern. They targeted you because you shined like the past victims they underestimated. And you might ask, then what made me different? Because unlike the others, you didn't break. You didn't fall into silence. You didn't crumble in the dark. Your resilience drew attention. Your survival triggered the collapse. Your strength linked the dots. You were the one who turned scattered suffering into a synchronized awakening. Now their past victims are no longer isolated. They've become a united front the enemy cannot outrun, outtalk, or outmanipulate. They created too many enemies. They built too many graves. They burned too many bridges. And now the karmic wall around them is closing. One step at a time, one voice at a time, one truth at a time. A villain can outrun one witness, but not the entire crowd they screwed over. Chosen one, here's the plot twist your enemy never imagined. You were never the only one. They thought they were pulling off isolated stunts. They thought their lies, scams, manipulations and betrayals were neatly compartmentalized. Each victim tucked away in separate rooms like files, hidden in different drawers. But life isn't a filing cabinet. Patterns always rise to the surface. They weren't just messy, they were predictable. They weren't just reckless, they were repetitive. And the universe finally hit compile, stitching every sin together like one big karmic collage. Imagine them running from room to room, trying to shut every door before someone catches on. But suddenly, all the doors swing open at once. And standing in each doorway is another person they wronged, people from different seasons of their life, people they thought had moved on, people they assumed forgot. And now, those people are forming a wall, a whole crowd of receipts in human form. That's when reality hits them. This isn't a one-on-one confrontation anymore. This is a class action karma lawsuit. Chosen One, the truth is simple. They didn't just target you because you were vulnerable. They targeted you because you fit their pattern. They targeted you because you shined like the past victims they underestimated. And you might ask, then what made me different? Because unlike the others, you didn't break. You didn't fall into silence. You didn't crumble in the dark. Your resilience drew attention. Your survival triggered the collapse. Your strength linked the dots. You were the one who turned scattered suffering into a synchronized awakening. Now their past victims are no longer isolated. They've become a united front. The enemy cannot outrun, outtalk, or outmanipulate. They created too many enemies. They built too many graves. They burned too many bridges. And now the karmic wall around them is closing, one step at a time, one voice at a time, one truth at a time. Number 11. The happy ending they will never touch. Karma didn't ruin their happy ending. It just returned the one they stole from someone else. Chosen One, this is the part where the universe sits back with popcorn. Your enemy thought they were the main character. They pictured some fairy tale ending where they get the love, the money, the status, the validation, the admiration, the glow. They thought their life was heading toward a perfect montage scene with soft lighting and triumphant music. But the universe wasn't filming their movie. It was filming yours. And when someone tries to sabotage the protagonist, their own storyline starts glitching. One by one, the things they thought were safe begin evaporating like fog under a spotlight. Their dream life unraveling, their relationships cracking in places they didn't even know were weak, their stability shaking like a cheap set piece about to collapse live on stage. Imagine them watching their future dissolve in real time, like an artist seeing their painting melt right off the canvas. Every plan they made is malfunctioning. Every shortcut backfires. Every connection they depended on starts acting weird, distant, avoidant. The universe is uninstalling every delusion they built. Chosen One, you might wonder, why is everything falling apart for them now? Because they tried to pull off a happy ending built on stolen energy. Because the blessings they chased were never meant for hands like theirs. Because even if they touched your destiny for a second, they were never meant to keep it. Their perfect future was always rented, never owned. Now they're realizing the cruel truth. You can't secure a fairy tale while playing the villain. You can't manifest abundance while leaking envy. You can't build a future while erasing others. The universe is reclaiming everything they tried to force, fake, or finesse. And while their life flickers out like a dying light bulb, yours is just beginning to rise to full brightness. Number 12. The fight they started and can't win. A villain's biggest nightmare isn't losing. It's realizing the battle they picked was against someone the universe already crowned untouchable. Chosen One. This final part is where the whole thing goes off the rails for them. Their mask, gone, their temper, exploding like a bargain bin firework, their desperation, leaking out through every crack they swore they could hide. This is when the enemy finally realizes they didn't just start a fight. They opened a portal to their own downfall. They thought they could poke you, prod you, test you, stalk you, gossip you into silence. They thought you were soft. They thought you were alone. They thought you were an easy opponent because you kept your composure while they played circus clown in the background. But the universe was behind you the whole time, arms crossed, smirking like, "Go on, sweetheart, throw the first punch. I dare you." The moment they attacked you, every rope tightened, every loophole closed, every escape route caved in. Suddenly, their tantrums stop working, their tricks misfire, their manipulation slides right off you like plastic. And the harder they fight, the more ridiculous they look, like someone trying to fist-fight gravity. Imagine them swinging wildly in a dark room, thinking they're hitting you, but every punch lands on their own karma instead. Every insult ricochets, every scheme boomerangs, every meltdown exposes them further. Chosen One, if you're wondering, why are they acting so chaotic now? It's because losing control was always their biggest fear. It's because some people only feel powerful when they're hidden, and you, unfortunately for them, turned on the lights. Now their rage is loud, but their power is gone. Their threats are dramatic, but their influence is dust. Their war is noisy, but their defeat is guaranteed. They picked the fight. The universe picked the winner, and spoiler, it was never going to be them. Number 13. The final lesson they will never forget. Some lessons come with a bruise, but the ones delivered for messing with a chosen one come with a permanent limp. Chosen One. This is the chapter where their entire storyline snaps in half. That final karmic slap. That life-altering wake-up call. The moment the universe steps in like, "All right, darling, class is officially in session." And trust me, you're gonna remember this one every time you breathe. They thought this was a game. They thought messing with you was just another thrill, another ego boost, another hit of control. They didn't realize they were signing up for a cosmic masterclass where the tuition is pain and the final exam is survival. Imagine them waking up one morning and realizing nothing is the same. Their intuition gone, their stability cracked, their connections fading, their confidence evaporated. It's like their entire life hit a reset button they never touched, but karma touched it for them. Their old ways don't work, their old tricks don't land, their old power doesn't spark. They're living in a version of themselves that feels downgraded. And here's the truth they'll never admit out loud. It all started when they came for you. You might wonder, but why is this their final lesson? Because some people only learn when the consequences become irreversible. Because the universe doesn't waste time teaching the same soul the same lesson forever. Because once someone crosses a chosen one with arrogance in their blood and entitlement in their eyes, that's when karma stops whispering and starts carving truth into their life. Now, every setback reminds them of you. Every closed door echoes your name. Every missed opportunity tastes like the moment they chose ego over wisdom. They will rebuild, but never into who they were before. They will recover, but never to their original level. They will live, but always aware of the day their life rewrote itself. All because they tried to play with someone the universe was protecting. And now, sliding into the final moment of this whole saga, chosen one, understand this. Everything they tried to weaponize against you ended up rewriting their destiny, not yours. The universe didn't just defend you, it promoted you. Their chaos became your clarity. Their downfall became your confirmation. You walked through the storm untouched, and they walked into their own karma unprepared. And now, chosen one, pay this message back. Hit that like, smash the subscribe, drop 77 in the comments so this energy keeps spreading, and share this with another soul who needs the reminder. The mission continues because you're part of the Force now.